Hey, friends! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, Hallmarkies! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I am joined once again by my good friend, Noah, to talk about Hallmark Channel Countdown to Christmas 2024, Week 2. Welcome back to the podcast, Noah.
It's great to be back.
And today we will be talking about Operation Nutcracker, the Christmas Charade, and the 5-year Christmas Party. Starting with Operation Nutcracker, it stars Christopher Russell and Ashley Newbrow. It was written by Kathy Breyer and Erica Deutschman. It was directed by David Weaver. When a priceless antique nutcracker set to be auctioned at the Warby family Christmas charity goes missing in an unfortunate suitcase swap, it is up to exacting event planner Lottie Morgan and the free-spirited heir to the Warby dynasty, Tristan, to track it all down while capturing the heart and spirit of Christmas. What were your first impressions on this movie?
I enjoyed it. I saw this all the way back in July,
Mm-hmm.
and I went, "I might as well watch this early."
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a cute story. I enjoyed multiple elements of it,
Yeah.
and I actually got to talk to the one writer, and I tried to get the other one, but Erica's so sweet. I got to talk to her. I'm gonna have her on my podcast again soon.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
she told me that she wrote this with her best friend and
Aw.
they had this idea. They pitched it to Hallmark and they just said, go for it. But I really enjoyed it. What are your first impressions?
I feel the same as you. I think my favorite part of it was the nutcracker element to it because, of course, the nutcracker at Christmas, you can't go wrong with that. So I thought that was a really fun, unique story for this movie. And I really enjoyed it. I thought that they had great chemistry. This movie was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Hmm. When a movie goes straight to the streaming service,
Mm-hmm.
I get really scared because
Yeah.
you never know if it's going to
You
be
never know. Yeah.
bad. But
Mm-hmm.
this one was very surprising. It went for a lot of family elements, and I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I didn't see it back in July, so I actually watched it before the premiere on, I think it was last Friday. I
Mm.
watched it a couple days before, and I was pleasantly surprised with the movie. I thought it was great. And I actually would love maybe another movie with these characters to see where their story goes next.
I'll have to text Erica and see if she has any ideas in place. If
Yeah,
she can tell me anything, because sometimes they can't
yeah,
say.
yeah, totally get it. But moving on to our highlights, what were some things that you liked about this movie or any favorite scenes?
I really enjoyed the people who got it and how that father was trying to get this specific doll,
Yeah.
but his daughter didn't really care
Mhm.
because she had something that was just so close to her.
Mm.
And the ending was really sweet,
Mhm.
with her getting it at the
Mhm.
very, very end and going, "What's the doll?" In her head, she completely
Yeah.
forgot about that one doll, and she just got to keep this one thing, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Me too. I loved Tristan and Lottie's banter. I thought was great in some of the scenes. Tristan's relationship with his mom and sister, Erica and Julie, I thought was really sweet. The wardrobe, I loved some of the outfits in this movie.
Hmm.
Great. Fantastic. I always love the wardrobe normally in these movies. The costume designer always does a great job.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Tristan and Lottie's meet cute, and I think it's the second time when they had landed at the second airport, and this was after they had, I guess, accidentally swapped suitcases. And he's trying to catch up to her, and she's like, "We have to stop meet cuting like this." Oh my gosh. That cracked me up, and I feel like it was maybe not an insult to Hallmark movies, but kind of like a joke
Yeah,
of Hallmark movies because, we always have the meet cute.
always have that, and she actually wanted to give a little dig at them, and they
Yeah.
really loved that. Those execs over there at Hallmark loved that joke specifically because very few people want to try and sneak one in there.
I also loved I think it was the first time at the first airport, and Tristan says, "Classic bag swap, just like in a rom-com."
Yep.
Again, a joke at Hallmark. In a loving way, of course, in a loving way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that made me laugh. I thought the scene when they talk on the bench was really great, when he's trying to tell her to give the florist a chance, Pam, and he says, "Sometimes it's the things you least expect that have the biggest impact on your life," and that's true.
Yes, it is.
That
100%.
was one of my favorite quotes, I think, from this movie. Another favorite quote from Tristan is, I think, later on that night, and I think he's walking her back home, and he says, "I think it's people's imperfections that make them special." Again, that was a great quote and something that's very true. I think I would have to say if I had to pick one absolute favorite scene from this movie, it would be when Tristan is sharing with Lottie how his parents started working with the hospital, and he's talking about his sister, Julia, and how when she was 7, she was diagnosed with leukemia and spent years in and out of the hospital. When she was cancer-free, they made it their life's mission to support the staff and help families going through one of the most difficult times of their lives. I thought that was really sweet. And then I think in that same scene, we get Tristan kind of comforting Lottie with the hug, and, he's talking about how studies show that a 7-second hug releases serotonin, which has a calming effect on the brain. So I thought that
Yep.
was a really sweet moment. Another comical line is in the scene when Dave and Pam are with Joey in her bedroom, or Josephine is her actual name. And they had given her the nutcracker, and Pam says, "Do I even want to know where you got that from? I don't even know where I got that from." My second top favorite scene is when Lottie is talking about her mom and then the relationship with her dad, and then Tristan sharing how he can relate with his mom and his dad and his sisters. So I thought that was really great. Do you have any more favorite scenes you would like to share?
I think that's about it for me.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Tristan and Lottie, when they go to see the Nutcracker, and he says, "I'd rather be looking at you,"
Mhm.
one point. And then the brief moment with Lottie and Erica when Lottie is sharing what drew her to event planning. Now, this was like right before Erica found out that they have lost the Nutcracker.
Mhm.
And then, of course, I loved the Christmas event and the dance between Tristan and Lottie. But I think my favorite part of the Christmas event was seeing Josephine's performance
Yeah.
as Clara with the Nutcracker. And then one more comical moment I would have to say is we talked about it a little bit earlier on with, the end and then finding Pam and Dave and getting the Nutcracker back. But I love when Lottie gets to the hospital, Tristan's already there. And then Dave and Josephine walk in, and, they all like see each other. And I think Lottie's like, "Tristan? Lottie? Dave? What
Yep.
what is happening?" And, Pam's like, how'd you know I was supposed to be?" And Josephine's like, "Joey!" She just says her. That's probably my favorite comedic scene in this movie. That was
I
done very well.
I actually forgot about that scene.
It was great. They did that perfectly. Moving on to our hopes, is there anything that you wanted to see out of this movie or that maybe you didn't like?
I didn't really care for the mother in
Okay.
this film. She was a bit
Maybe a
too
little
much,
too uptight, maybe?
maybe a little,
Yeah,
and we
maybe
we
just a
didn't
little.
get we didn't get much of her. I wanted a little bit more,
Mhm,
so maybe she could show why she is like that a little bit,
mhm.
what this actually means to her instead of just for what it's there for.
Yeah, I
But
get it, yeah.
it was more like for the money than anything else, which I wanted more from her character, but besides that, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was one thing that I wanted to, or that maybe I would have pulled back on regarding her personality, how uptight she was. But I mean, it didn't take away from the movie. Like, I didn't not enjoy the movie because of it.
Yeah, that's just something that
Yeah.
I would have wrote in just a few more scenes of her,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
Yeah. I think one other thing I would have to say is I wanted to see more with Lottie and her dad. Now, I
Hmm.
understand that it was probably part of the storyline for him to be working so much
Yep.
or their, arc in this movie, but it would have been nice to see more of the two of them together.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I always love a good father-daughter scene. So, yeah. Maybe if there's a second one, we'll get more of that relationship. Moving on to ratings, what would you give this for cast out of 5?
Cast 4,
That's what I said too. Chemistry.
chemistry 4,
Yes, the same. Christmas feels, I said 5.
Christmas. I said 5 for this one as well.
Yeah, a lot of Christmas feels in this movie with the
Lot.
nutcracker and the Christmas tree lot and the
The ballet.
Russian the Russian dolls.
Hmm.
I actually have Russian dolls somewhere in my house. They're a lot of fun. Setting?
Setting 5,
Yeah, I said 5 too. Story?
story 4.
Okay, I gave it 3.5. And then overall?
Overall, I gave it a 4.
Okay, I said 3.5 just based on those things that we just talked about. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. A solid movie for Hallmark.
Yes, very very solid. And if you haven't seen it, it's on
Hallmark Plus.
their yep on their service. Which
Mhm.
stay tuned because every single Thursday they have a new premiere of a new movie every Thursday.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, go subscribe to Hallmark Plus if you haven't already Hallmarkies. It's totally worth everything that you get.
Thousands of movies, hundreds of
Yeah.
episodes, tons of other stuff.
Yes. Moving on to the Christmas charade. It stars Corey Sevier and Rachel Scarston with a cameo by Jefferson Brown and Kristen Booth. It
Hmm.
was written by Kate Pragnell and directed by Corey Sevier. A cautious librarian raised by home security experts finds herself in a real life adventure when a blind date mix up leads her into an undercover FBI operation. Forced to pose as the girlfriend of Special Agent Josh, she helps him track down an art thief targeting the St. Nicholas Ruby at a Christmas Eve charity ball. What were your first impressions on the Christmas charade?
I love this movie, and this is my personal favorite of the entire year.
Yeah, it's my number
Uh,
one so far.
this gave me everything
Yeah.
I wanted, and I can just rave about this one.
It was it was great. It had a holiday heist kind of theme to it, and I thought it was
Yep.
really fun. I usually enjoy action movies depending on what it is. So yeah, I
Yeah.
loved that Hallmark did a Christmas themed action movie. It was a lot of fun and great cast all around, great writing, great banter with Corey and Rachel, and great chemistry too.
Mhm.
Yeah, just an all around great movie.
Great twist.
Yes.
Fantastic twist at the very, very end. I
Mhm.
was thinking, I'm like, are they a part of it? Because they're
I did
acting
not
like they know it.
I did not see that coming the first time I watched it. Nope. I would love a sequel to this one. This one would be great to have a sequel.
And they did tease a little bit of it at the very, very end. And I think
Yes.
with how people are loving this movie,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't look at anything about the movie before it aired.
Okay.
And I saw one friend of mine say she was about 30 minutes into it, and it's her favorite. I'm like, is it really that good? And I watched it right before work on Sunday, and I went, it's that good.
Mhm.
It's that
Yep.
good.
I loved the ending too, and you know how Whitney was like, "Maybe I should join the FBI," and Josh or Johnny and her parents are like, "What?"
What?
That was great. Spoiler alert if you're
Yeah,
watching this without having seen the movie. But anyway, moving on to highlights, what were some things that you liked about the movie and some favorite moments?
I really enjoyed their family touch, where
Yes.
he had no family as a kid, so he didn't have anything with
Mhm.
anybody. So he got to live through her and
Mm,
have a childlike experience.
yeah.
And that date where he met her parents, I
Mhm.
loved that scene because that father is just like any father I've met any of my exes with. Oh my lord, that's to a T.
Mhm.
You're nervous, they like to pick on you,
Yeah.
but they just make you feel part of the family.
Yeah.
I
That
really
was
enjoyed that.
that was a great scene.
Charades, that was great.
Yes. That
With
was
him
great.
just getting on the floor and her dad just being a complete jerk about it,
Yes.
getting it wrong on purpose just to see how far he would go.
Yeah.
I loved that, and I loved their dance at the gala. That was really, really
Mm.
nice.
Yes, that was a favorite moment for me too.
And one of my favorite other scenes is when they're trying to steal the original
Mhm.
piece
Yeah.
and they're up in the vents.
Yes, they're up in the vent.
That was great. I don't think Hallmark has done a vent scene
I don't think so.
very often.
Mhm.
If they have, it's been very sporadic. I mean, I can't think of any mysteries that have done that. Uh,
I
they've
feel
done
like
like a stakeout, but
there's one, but I can't put my finger on which one it
I
is.
don't know. But in a rom-com, they
Yeah.
definitely haven't done it
No,
yet, and
no.
I'm hoping that they do more of
Yes.
this style of a movie and give
Yeah.
Corey Sevier more directing roles because he directed
Yes.
this to perfection.
He did a fantastic job, and now I have actually never seen this movie, but the mention or the reference of Die Hard was hilarious.
Yep. And Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It is a Christmas movie. It takes place at a Christmas party. There's Christmas music playing.
Yeah.
When he shoots somebody, he puts ho 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 on them. So to me and to all the people I've talked to in
Oh
interviews
my gosh.
in the Hallmark community, it's marked as one of the best Christmas movies of all time. So
Yeah,
to
I've
me,
heard.
if the kings of Christmas movies and the kings and queens of Christmas movies call it a Christmas movie, I'm calling it a Christmas movie.
I've heard a lot of people say that they love that movie. I'll have to watch it sometime.
It's definitely not Hallmark friendly,
No, no,
but
of course not.
it is great. It is
Yeah,
so fun.
yeah. I can definitely watch stuff other than Hallmark, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
These
great.
just give us a great escape
Yeah,
from the real world and the violence and everything
yeah,
going on. These are a safe space, and for a movie like this is exactly what you want
yeah,
from a Hallmark Christmas film.
yes. And while we're talking about the scene when they try to get the original necklace the first time, I think it was right before they go in and right before Josh goes to the car, after the alarm has gone off,
Hmm.
and right before I love how Whitney is, in the car by herself. He had just gone into the building and she's like, jingle bells, please don't let us get caught. I'd like to live another day, and I love Christmas a lot.
That sounds like a you song there, Nicole. That sounds exactly like a song you would sing. That's you.
That's me in a nutshell. I would totally sing that, yes. I would totally be Whitney in that situation. Like,
Yep.
please don't let us get caught. Going back to the beginning, of course, being a Postable and a When Hope Calls fan, and The Way Home too. I loved the cameo from Kristen and Jefferson Brown.
Mhm.
That was great. Can we get them in a movie of their own, please? Because the chemistry was great.
Maybe in a movie that was the same story as the one that they were in.
Yes.
I mean, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, actually, a movie with those characters, but just them as the leads. And we get more
Hmm.
backstory on them and how they fell in love, and that would be great.
I completely agree.
Yeah. I really liked Whitney's relationship with her parents. We just talked a little bit about that. Whitney and Rachel's friendship, the meet cute with Johnny or Josh and Whitney with the green sweater. I love how she mistakes him for her blind date because of the green sweater.
Hmm.
And when she threatens him with the pepper spray, that was hilarious.
And we don't see that often. They don't pull out any sort of spray in
No.
a Hallmark movie ever, but that was great.
So all the scenes of Johnny helping Whitney prepare for the undercover mission I thought were really fun. And the first one I think is one of my favorites when he's trying to help her learn their backstory and how they met.
Hmm.
And he says, "Did you not read the material?" And she's like, "It's 340 pages." Her expression in that scene, like the way Rachel played that was perfect.
Perfect.
Yes. And then he's also trying to help her learn how to send a text message from her pocket.
Hmm.
That I have never tried to do that, but I'm sure that is very difficult.
I've tried to, and the most I've gotten is okay.
Yeah.
And then I try to text when I'm out and about while not trying to be rude.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, but sometimes it's just like random letters.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's what happened to Whitney. Hers was just
Yep.
like a bunch of random letters.
Then there's him just doing it like nothing.
Yep. And then the martial arts I thought was fun too.
She actually had some training.
Yes, I'm sure she did. Of course, all the scenes of Johnny and Whitney going undercover I thought were really fun. Oh, also when they're in the vent. Sure, come work with the FBI. Plan a party. It'll be fun. That would totally be me again.
Yep.
I would totally say that. I loved for the Christmas game night or Christmas charades, the ugly Christmas sweaters. I didn't think those were ugly sweaters at all, to be honest.
I have a really ugly one. I mean, I got a really ugly one, but I wear it every year to work and
Yeah,
everybody loves it. But
yeah,
those were definitely made and specialty made. Those were beautiful sweaters, actually.
yeah. They were great. I really liked them. I thought they were cute. The mother-daughter talk about Johnny, and then Jim's talk with Johnny about Whitney, I thought were nice. And then Johnny and Whitney's talk before the gala. And then, the mistletoe ball and their tango dance, and then the jump with the rope. Now, this is a callback to Kristen and Jefferson's cameo
Hmm.
because Whitney says what Kristen's character said at the beginning: jump first, think later.
Yep.
They jump with the rope down the building onto the inflatable Christmas decor to go after her parents who have supposedly been taken hostage.
Hmm.
And then the twist comes, which is
When they have the kidnappers pinned down, and they were
Mhm.
actually part of the
I
FBI
was like,
years ago, before she was born. They were a part of the FBI, and they caught on to everything.
"Yep, the art
They're
fraud department."
they're like, this just makes a little too much sense. Why does this sound familiar?
Yeah, they were a part of the art fraud department of the FBI. I think her mom said in the 80s.
Yep, in the 80s, right before she was born, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. I was like, "What?" I totally did not see that coming. But that was a great twist. I love how they
Great.
did that. And of course, Cheryl is the one who swapped the necklace. She and Jim,
Hmm.
they were at the mistletoe ball, of course. And when Josh dipped her and, she looked over to her purse, they caught on.
Hmm.
Along with how, they thought she was not acting herself the night before. So they had somebody that they know in the FBI
Hmm.
tell them about who Johnny or Josh is, and that's when they knew. But yeah, great little twist, and I love how Whitney catches Patty, and Josh arrives right in the nick of time to save her because, Patty and Lou's, people that were trying to help them steal the necklace.
They're accomplices.
Yeah, they're accomplices, that's what I was trying to say. And she learns to record on her phone the whole conversation
Hmm.
without taking her phone out of her pocket. Brilliant. And then the end, when they share their feelings and she gifts him the snowflake and
Yep,
he gives
definitely.
her the replica necklace. I thought that was a really nice touch
Hmm.
and a great way to end the movie. Moving on to hopes. Is there anything that you wanted to see out of this movie or maybe didn't like?
I don't really have anything. I mean, this is a perfect movie.
Mhm.
Just
I
for me,
think
there's nothing.
the only thing I would say, even though it was a nice twist at the end, I wish that Whitney's parents had told her earlier that they were in the FBI.
Yeah.
But I mean, it didn't take away from the movie. I just wish they had told her
Hmm.
earlier, even though it was still a great little twist at the end that I don't think a whole lot of people probably saw coming.
I don't think a ton of Hallmarkies saw that.
Mm-mm. But yeah, I can't really think of anything I disliked about this movie. It was fantastic. 5 stars. It was my first five-star movie of the year so far. It's my number 1 Christmas movie for Hallmark of 2024 as of right
This
now.
is this is my number one Christmas movie of
Yeah.
2024. I have a couple more ahead of it, but I think this one's gonna have a lot of rewatchability with it.
Yes, I agree. Moving on to ratings, what would you give this for cast and chemistry out of 5?
5,
Yeah, I said 5 too. Christmas feels?
500%.
I said 4.5, which that's
Okay.
high for me.
Yep.
Setting?
Setting 4.5.
Okay, I said 5. Story?
5.
5, and then overall?
5.
5, yes. 5 for me too. I really enjoyed this movie, really loved it, would love a sequel. If you're listening, Hallmark, we would love a second one. Moving on to the 5-year Christmas party. It stars Jordan Fisher and Katie Finley. It was written by Zach Hugg and directed by Peter Benson. Each holiday season for 5 years, former high school theater rivals Alice and Max reunite in Chicago to work at a catering company's Christmas parties. While their undeniable chemistry grows, the timing is never right for romance until the company's final season pushes them to confront their true feelings. As they say goodbye to the job that brought them together, they might finally find love in the most unexpected way. What were your first impressions on this movie?
I'm in the vast minority of this. I didn't
That's
like
okay.
this all that much.
I totally get it. Yeah.
Um, for me, this felt like a lesser version of one of my favorite films, When Harry Met Sally.
Okay.
This one felt very similar, but I have a couple things I liked. This one, I'm a Jordan Fisher guy, and
Yeah, me too.
I'm I'm very connected to him. So we got 2 weekends in a row where two people from my childhood and teen years
Fun.
were in a Hallmark movie for the first time. The last one really worked.
Yes.
This one, I wish I liked it more, but hey, if everybody loved it, that's awesome.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't my favorite either.
No,
But I think Jordan was my favorite part of this movie. Of course, I grew up with Jordan too because he was on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon.
hmm
Liv and Maddie, Teen Beach Movie, just
Yep.
to name a few. Liv and Maddie was kind of towards the end of when I was watching Disney Channel, but I still saw some Liv and Maddie episodes, and I do remember him. He's a great actor.
For me, I'm a Disney Parks guy,
Okay, yeah.
and Jordan is the guy who sings the song when the castle show every night goes
Okay.
on.
I didn't know that.
He's the one there. So when I watched the streams and when I was there, I got to hear it, and I'm connected to him that way because I literally hear him every week,
Oh, that's awesome.
and I just love the guy to death. But
Yeah.
yes,
I love Katie too. Katie's a fantastic actor too. We'll get into it more, but I
right.
wish I did love this movie more because the two of them are great. Moving on to highlights. So, what were some things you did like about this movie?
I liked the beginning of it. I
Yeah.
liked the first 20 minutes
Okay.
when they're starting to flesh out this story, and I like how they agree to be friends, but then they just kiss out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
And
great.
then they have that that chemistry was so real then that they
Mhm.
just kept on going,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that because I mean, what else were they supposed to do in that
Mhm.
moment? Why not try and see how that goes before you actually come up with a actual decision on what
Yeah.
to do?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed where he kept on getting roles,
Mhm.
even if it's in like a print ad. Hey, you're getting paid.
Mm.
So I mean, he's better and better and better, and that's about it for me.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it did have some nice moments. I loved the friendship that Alice had with Daniel and Claire, the relationship that Alice had with her mom. Of course, the Christmas Carol aspect I thought was really fun. You gotta love a Christmas Carol. Everyone, I think, loves the Christmas Carol, or most everyone loves the Christmas.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
I thought it was a great concept with the 5 years and catering Christmas parties, and I loved the name of the catering company, Fable and Feast. That's a really fun name. I loved when Lisa offered Alice a part-time job at the theater, and then, Max and Alice officially decide to be friends. I gotta mention this because I think it was brought up on Twitter. I didn't watch live, but I did see it. The mention of Alice watching an Ashley Williams Christmas movie, Never
Yep.
Kiss a Man in a Christmas Sweater,
Underrated. Underrated movie.
while she's talking to her mom on the phone. That was great. And then we get another mention of Ashley Williams at the end when Max says that she's playing his sister in the TV show that he got cast in. That was fantastic. That was great. And love Ashley Williams. She's really kind. I actually met her at Rama Drama a couple years ago.
The writer that I just spoke to said she's one of the best human beings that he's ever met in his entire life.
Yeah, she's so fun to talk to. I really had a great time meeting her. I liked the scene when they're at the Christmas party in year 2, when they're working on the orange pomander decor. I thought that was really fun. Last year with my mom, we went to tour a historical home in downtown Charleston. I can't remember which one, but at the end of the tour, they had a tent set up at the back of the house,
Mhm.
and they had tables, and one of the tables, of course, had apple cider, and then the other table had orange pomanders with the things that you stick inside of the orange. And my mom and I actually made one. It was a lot of fun. I loved during the Christmas gift exchange when it's Max and Alice, and they go into the kitchen, and she's freaking out because the big role that he's up for is in a movie called Christmas in Space with Daphne Day. I loved her reaction. She's like, "Christmas in Space," and he's like, "Shh." Oh my gosh. And then she's like, "Daphne," and he stops her from saying who's in it with him. That was great. And of course, the kiss was great in that scene. That was a great kiss.
That was a great kiss. I mean, they went at it, buddy.
So yeah, I was like,
They
"Okay, now."
they might have enjoyed that a little bit too much. I mean,
But all right now. Okay.
we we haven't had a kiss like that
Yeah.
since probably Catch Me If You Claws. That one kiss that everybody knew
Yeah.
in that car. We haven't had a kiss like that since then.
No. I will say, I'm not gonna spoil the actual scene, but I will say that there have been a couple movies this year where the kisses rival that. One was in the
Yeah.
Seinfeld movie that just premiered in July, and then the other was the 2 that we got from Tom and Goldie in Curious Caterer, Forbidden Fruit.
Oh, oh yeah, that one where they're in her kitchen, I think.
Yeah, I was like,
Yep.
"Okay now."
Yep.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, back to the 5-year Christmas party. I thought another great moment was when Max and Daphne helped cater the party.
Mhm.
And this was because Alice had accidentally spilled, I think, wine on Daphne's dress. So, she came up with an idea for them to cater so that she could wear an apron to cover it up. That was great. Then the dinner with Max, Alice, and their friends when they're doing the Christmas conversation prompts. I thought that was a nice moment. And then I think my favorite would probably have to be when they are curled up on the sofa watching a Christmas movie. And then the end when they share their feelings for each other. Those are probably my top 2 favorite scenes.
For me, I'm a sucker for
Mhm.
a on the couch watching a movie scene.
Mm.
Those are just
Yeah.
things that get me. Those just sink right down, and I'm like, yeah, those scenes always just click, and that's another scene that I really did enjoy. That's a
Yeah.
great scene, and that might be my favorite scene in the movie. Is that one?
Yeah, I think so too. I will say one more moment that I really liked, and that is Alice's talk with her mom and her mom's encouragement to her when she says, "The laughter, the struggles, the adventure, and the love, that's what makes you whole. Without all of those things, success is hollow. Let your heart take the wheel." That was a great quote
Mm-hmm.
and very true. Moving on to our hopes. What was it that you didn't like about this movie or that you wanted to see more of?
I really didn't like how after year two they didn't really build anything
Yeah.
for me,
Mhm.
and then I think it was the third year, the second or third year, he texts her
Mhm.
all year round, and she
Mhm.
doesn't respond.
Yeah.
By that point, in any other movie, they would have just forgot about that, and he would have moved on. And
Mhm.
in real life, if someone doesn't get back to you within maybe a day or two, you're like, okay, they're not they don't want anything. So
Yeah.
I didn't really care for that.
Mhm.
The chemistry was there in the beginning part.
Yeah.
The kiss in the kitchen,
Mhm.
that was
That
good.
was yeah.
But between there and the kiss at the very, very end, I didn't really feel anything, and they didn't build anything in the script
Yeah.
well enough for me to really care about that couple.
Mhm.
But the two actors did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
It's
They
just
really
the script was not the strongest.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. That was my biggest issue was it felt like a little too much of a slow burn and somewhat repetitive.
Hmm.
Like you said, the second half of the movie didn't build to anything. I just wanted to see more. This movie, before it aired, it gave me a little bit of a reminder of my grown up Christmas list with Kevin
Yeah.
McCreary and Kayla Wallace. And I thought that movie did the slow burn better than this movie.
And in that movie, they weren't even in the same state in the same
Yeah.
state or even the
Or country.
same, yeah, or the same country for about three-quarters of the movie. And
Yeah.
they build that chemistry a lot better. But then again, we know how that went. But
Yeah. I mean, we know that they're together in real life. They're an actual real life couple. So,
yep. So I mean, that's a given. But
yes.
that built a lot better with that script. This one, I think if you gave it a little bit more of like a comedic spin to it,
Mm-hmm.
it might have worked a little bit better. But the second half was pretty dry.
Mm-hmm.
There's some nice lines in it, a couple good moments, but besides that, the second half really just dragged.
Yeah.
And for 84 minutes, I don't really think it's supposed to drag.
No.
We've seen other slow burn movies, like say, The Real West. That was a slower burn,
Mm. Yeah.
but that script added in a lot of sad moments, but some good scenes between a
Yeah.
mom and a son, and
Yeah.
then a son and a father figure.
Mhm.
They added in things that made it worth that slow burn. This one just didn't do that for me personally.
No, and I hate that, like, I'm disappointed that I didn't like it more. I really wanted to love this one. Of course, like we said in the week 1 review,
Hmm.
this is nothing against the actors or any of the crew or the writers. Like, Peter Benson is one of my favorite directors, and I
Hmm.
really wanted to love this movie more. And it's disappointing, but we're not gonna like every movie, even though we appreciate the work that everyone puts in.
One of my favorite quotes is all film is subjective and not objective.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you liked it, I'm glad you loved it.
Yeah.
If you agree with us, great. No one's wrong here.
Oh,
Nobody is right
no.
or wrong. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna hit you in a different way.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm sure that for, people in the industry that Max and Alice are in, it's very relatable. So I
Yep.
totally understand that. I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't absolutely love it either. It was just middle of the road for me. I enjoyed it. It had some good moments.
Yeah. It's definitely my least favorite of the entire year. It's just my
Yeah.
least favorite of the Christmas season so far.
Yes. And another reason why I wanted to love this more is because Zach Hugg wrote it, and he wrote Ghost of Christmas Always from 2022, and that was in my top 10 of 2022. I think it was even in my top 5, if I remember correctly.
I
So yeah,
don't remember if it
it was a
was.
great one. But yeah.
It was in my top 15, top 10.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
I'd have
that
to look back at the list.
that's another reason why I thought I would love it more because Zach did such a great job with that movie. But moving on to ratings, what would you give this for cast out of 5?
Cast, I'd go with a 4.
That's what I said too. Chemistry,
Chemistry, 3.
I said 3.5. It didn't blow me away, but it wasn't terrible either.
There were moments where it worked.
Yes. And then setting,
Setting, 4.
okay, I said 3.5. Story,
Story, a 3.
I gave it a 3 too. And then overall,
Overall, I gave this one a 3.
yeah, I said 3 as well. I enjoyed the movie, like I just said, but I think that the strongest of the weekend was the Christmas charade,
I completely agree.
followed by Operation Nutcracker and then the 5-year Christmas party. This was so much fun, Noah. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I had a great time, as always.
And thank you, and I can't wait to come back.
Of course, cannot wait to have you back. I know we talked about reviewing the Unwrapping Christmas movies together, so
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to that and
Yep.
maybe another one sometime in between
Mm-hmm.
now and then. So, yeah,
Anytime.
yeah,
I'm happy to come back.
you're always welcome to come on the podcast and talk about these movies. All right, Hallmarkies, I think that wraps up our Hallmark Channel Countdown to Christmas 2024 Week 2 review. If you enjoyed this episode and are watching on YouTube, you can like this video and share your thoughts on the 3 movies in the comments. If you are listening on Spotify, make sure to rate and review, as your feedback is always greatly appreciated. If you want to stay up to date on all of my episodes, you can subscribe to this channel on YouTube or follow along on Spotify. And make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when those new episodes come. You can also find the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at Swing My Heart Podcast and Twitter at Swing My Heart Pod. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Love y'all. Bye.